Hi folks, and welcome to this week's edition of All About Real Estate. I'm Gary Hennessy from Professionals at Reynella. Last week we talked about tips on how to go about buying a home, but what happens if you just can't find a house and you're tearing your hair out, you don't know what to do? Well, this week we've got an answer for you, so I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine. Hey Michael.
Hello Gary.
How are you, mate?
I'm well.
Now Michael is a buyer's agent, and you might ask yourself, what is a buyer's agent? I've never heard of a buyer's agent. Michael, what is a buyer's agent?
Well, Gary, what a buyer's agent does is fill in the gap and find exactly the right property for someone who hasn't been able to do so.
Okay, so how do you go about doing that? What tips do you have?
Okay, well, it's very different from selling a property. Of course, it's a matter of finding out really what people want, what they're actually looking for in quite a lot of detail,
right?
And then going out and riffling through as many properties as necessary to find just that absolutely right property for them.
Okay. And who would use a buyer's agent as a client? What sort of people do you have?
Well, you mentioned people who just have tried and can't find property.
Yep.
Some of those people.
Yep.
People who frankly are too busy and don't have the time to put into it.
Yep.
People who are interstate or overseas, help them find property. And sometimes even people who are just too daunted by the process, the complexities of...
Because it can be quite intimidating, can't it?
It can be,
because you've not done buying of houses before and you walk in and there's this real estate agent that knows all about it. So that would actually give you a bit of an edge for the buyer, wouldn't it?
It generally does.
Right, because you know the process.
Yes.
So someone that hasn't got a clue what's going on,
that's right,
they can rely on your experience, because you've been doing this for how many years now?
This time 9 years,
right?
Well over that in terms of real estate.
In terms of real estate, 30 odd years.
30 years.
So Michael really does know about helping buyers. He worked in America as a buyer. Where in America they actually do it quite slightly differently, don't they? Because they have an agent for the seller and they have an agent for the buyer. Most of the
time, there are two agents involved. Yeah.
Which means that you've actually got someone that's representing your interests as a buyer. So certainly that's something to think about. And I know also you deal with people who are doing buying real estate for superannuation funds.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Yes.
Where people come to you and say, hey, I want to put something in a super fund, but I want to get the right property. Again, they don't have the time to do that.
No, and there are additional complexities in the process as well.
Okay.
You have to do it right.
All right. Mate, thanks very much for that. Appreciate you coming along this week. So that's buyer agency. You may not have heard of it before, but if you'd like more details, get on to Michael. You can find him at realteam.com.au, and he'll be happy to talk to you about how a buyer agent does their business. Next week we're going to be talking about, once we've bought the house, what do we need to do? There's some processes that you need to work through, and one of those is making sure that the house is sound. So we're going to talk about building and pest inspections. I'm Gary Hennessy from Professionals Reynella, and we'll see you next week.